All right, welcome to another live episode of geekoutdoors.com. And so today I'm going to be going over crazy, insanely cheap YouTube setup, everything from the hardware all the way to the software. So if you are brand new to YouTube and you're thinking, I'm going to have to spend tons of money to get started, I'm going to show you that you don't, So the main reason we're doing this is because whenever I started YouTube, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, I don't have the gear. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to buy. And at the same time, I don't even know what software to use. And so today I'm going to be going over some of those things for you. And so let me get a few things ready. If you are on the chat, please say something. And also, I want to make sure that my latency is okay. And that's a big thing whenever you're live streaming. So let me do a quick test to make sure there's no latency here. Let me do a quick test to make sure there's no latency here. All right. So I think it's always important to do that if you are live streaming. So let me go ahead and take this chat out. Okay. All right. And what I'm going to be going to do on this particular episode is I'm going to be showing you first the hardware that you can use to actually start your YouTube studio. And then I'm going to go into my computer and actually show you the software that you can use to actually become a content creator. And so let's go ahead and start off with the very simple and easy to understand part, and that is your whole video recording device. And obviously, the cheapest way is your phone. So I think most people already have a smartphone they can use, and as long as you have a phone and an internet connection and obviously a Gmail account so you could set up a YouTube channel, this is absolutely the cheapest way to build your first YouTube studio. And I think for a lot of people, they might get intimidated by it because they kind of feel like they need all these things, right? And this phone, or actually the one before this, my HTC one, was the first one that I ever used to become my YouTube studio. And all you have to do is just turn it around, press record, and that's it. This is like the simplest way to do that. So if you're just starting out and you just want to post your first YouTube video, your phone that's with you is absolutely the cheapest and best way. And if you're like me where you have multiple smartphones, like maybe an older phone or something, well, now you have two cameras or three or four, and you can have a multi-camera setup. So that's the first place. But now let's go ahead and get into the actual YouTube setup that I think will work for a lot of people, especially if you are starting out. And so obviously, if you're just using your phone and holding it, that'll work. But as you're making more and more videos, especially if you're going to be moving around and you want to have different places where you want to set your camera, you don't want it to constantly be moving around, well, you're going to need a tripod and also an additional tool. And so the first thing is this one right here. This is the Manfrotto mini Pixie tripod, and I'm going to talk about these equipment a little bit later in the video. That's the first thing. You're going to need some type of tripod, and the reason why I like this mini Pixie tripod is the first thing is it's portable, it's small, and at the same time, this is from Manfrotto, very high quality. This is not a cheap tripod, and when I mean cheap, this is only like $20. Okay, so that's the first thing. And another thing I like about it is this ball head right here. If you press it down, you can move it around, and you see how this works a little bit. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is some type of phone clamp. This is also from Manfrotto, and obviously if you just have your phone and your tripod, you need some way to set it on your tripod. And that's why having this clamp is so awesome, because as you can see here, there's a thread at the bottom, but there's also a thread right here as well. So you could set it at different angles. So let me show you how this works. Very simple and easy to use. And it took me a while to realize that I needed a tripod and also that I needed some type of clamp. So let me show you this. Yep. And there it is. And voila, you have your portable YouTube studio, and just open up the camera app and you're good to go. Super easy to use. And I would say for the vast majority of people, this is going to suit their needs. Now, obviously, you could do some other things as well, but I think for most people, this is the deal right here. But now we're going to go ahead and upgrade it a little bit further, okay? So if you wanted to get better audio, say like you're outside in the wind or something and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you could just get some earbuds, okay? Any earbuds that actually have a mic, you can use that. Like I have one, it's like $5. And so whenever I'm outside, I'll go ahead and plug that in here and I'll put it right here beneath my shirt. Now, I don't have my earbuds with me right now, but I think everybody's familiar with that. And the reason why you want to put the mic portion below your shirt is because you don't want any wind noise, okay? Now, there's many other things you could do. You could get other external microphones as well. You could also get lapel microphones. But in this case, I want to keep things at a very cheap price, which leads me to another very important thing, and that's lighting. And what I have here is a really cheap $5 light. And I forgot to mention this clamp is $10. So all I'll do here is I'll go ahead and set this on here, as you can see. And this is what I like about it. When you press it, there's your light. So you get an automatic light with you wherever you go. But at the same time, you could also have different levels of lighting as you press it. You see that? So you can have ultra bright light with this really small and inexpensive ring light. Check that out. That's really awesome. And at the same time, this is portable. So as you can see here, and you can charge this with a micro USB. And so with just this setup alone, you have an excellent, pretty much complete YouTube studio. And once again, if you wanted better audio, you know, if you're going to be outside, I would just say just start off with some earbuds with a mic input, and that is all you need. And so total price here for everything we have here for our complete YouTube studio. So this mini Pixie tripod is about $20, and I'm going to show you this on the computer here in a bit. The clamp is $10, and then the light is $5, and your headphone set, you know, that could be like $5 or less, okay? So with that, you're looking at $20, $30, $35, $40 for a complete YouTube studio. And this is going to be way better than you just using your phone by itself. Because let me tell you, whenever I started, there were so many years where I was just using my phone, which was great. You know, the audio wasn't bad at all. And most of these phones have pretty good microphones. Now, when I was outside, it did cause a problem. But it took me a little while to realize that, well, besides getting a tripod and a clamp, maybe I could actually just use my earbuds. So when I did that, it definitely improved things. And then later on, I realized that lighting is really, really important. And so that's why something like this is absolutely awesome. So we have the first person here, Frank in Texas. Thank you for your vlogs. Thank you, Frank, for joining. Really appreciate it. So let me head over to the computer just to kind of show you what the pricing is. And I'm just showing you here that this is possible for you to have a completely full YouTube studio without spending a lot of money. And I really, really love this tripod. I've tried a number of tripods and it's awesome. Okay, so let me go ahead and head over to my computer and I'm going to show you the pricing, but then we're also getting to like the software that I use. So this right here, in my opinion, this is the complete hardware package that you need along with your earbuds. Okay, now if you wanted to get fancier, of course you could spend more, but in this case I want to keep the cost really low. Okay, so let's go ahead and head over to the computer. And I have two screens, and so I'm not used to using multi-screen setups too often, especially in a live. So okay, so hopefully you could see my desktop. Okay, and so in this case I might not be facing the camera because I have a webcam here. And okay, let me see, we're going to go ahead and look at these. All right, so hopefully you can see that. Oh, maybe not. Okay, that's the wrong one. Okay, let's go to another one. Okay, so hopefully I'm on the right screen. So I have too many windows open. And so the first thing is this Manfrotto Pixie mini tripod. And what I'll do is I'll leave links to all of this in the description area below. And I also have reviews that I did of these as well. But as you can see, currently this is $21. Okay, and this one is actually a little bit different than mine, just the coloring, but it's the same thing. It's the Manfrotto mini Pixie tripod or Pixie mini tripod. And here is the Manfrotto smart clamp. So this is $10. And then I have this Boya clip, which is $4.88, so $5. And obviously your earphones, you know, like I said, you could just pick up some really cheap earphones. As long as it has some type of mic, that is all you need. And so that is the first thing, okay? Having all the products, the hardware that you need to actually do your YouTubing, okay? And as you can see, for that really inexpensive overall price, I think you're going to get a lot better video quality out of this than if you just use your phone handheld, or if you just use your phone with a tripod and a clamp. So that is the first thing. And now I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the software that you can use, okay? Because I think that is a big thing for you to have the right software to do all your YouTube videos, to create your content, to put up your thumbnails, and also to do some audio editing as well. And if you've been a long time viewer of my channel, then you're seeing all the software that I normally use, okay? And so I'm gonna go ahead and head over to my desktop, and I'm gonna open up one other thing as well while we're doing that. Now, all of this software that I'm showing you, this is free, okay? And also pretty much all the software that I'm using, they're multi-platform, meaning that if you're using Windows, Mac, or Linux like I do, you'll be able to use them. There's only one software that really isn't, I would say, compatible, or maybe that is as widely compatible as the other software, and I'll show you that here in a bit. So let me do some other thing real quick, and I'm gonna go back to my camera because I need to do one more thing here. And a lot of these things that, you know, I'm showing you here, it was like mostly me first trying to figure it out on my own. And then I had to do a lot of research to find out what software would work best for me, and obviously using it myself. So this took me a while, and I'm still learning as well. But let me see if I could find it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this one here. And so there might be a little bit of sound here in a bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and lower the volume, and let's loop this. Okay. Right? Okay. And so let's go ahead and go through this. So the first piece of software that I'm gonna show you, or actually the most important piece of software, is your video editor. And so in this case, the first video editor, or the first 3 video editors I'm going to show you, these are all free and open source video editors, okay? If you're not familiar with what open source means, don't worry about it. Just know that it's free and they're really great to use. And so the one that I use the most right now is Kdenlive. I really love this video editor. It allows me to quickly create and produce videos. And at the same time, if you are, you know, somebody who wants to really learn more about video editing, I would say out of the 3, this one's probably going to be the most advanced when it comes to the free and open source video editors. Okay, so Kdenlive is the first one that I use. And for the vast majority of my videos, this is probably the one I'm going to use because it's really easy for me to use. And at the same time, I am very used to the workflow. But second to that is Shotcut. So Shotcut, I think, is an excellent video editor overall. And I think for most people who are starting out and who also want to learn more medium to advanced things, I would say Shotcut is really great for that because it has a combination of beginner-friendly stuff, but it's also a little bit more advanced. Now, I would say Kdenlive, it is more advanced. It does have a higher learning curve, but if you're going to be, you know, maybe going to something like Adobe Premiere or Apple Final Cut, then I think Kdenlive is more similar to those, okay? So Shotcut is the second one. And then the final one is OpenShot. So this is really the one that got me started. You know, I did use Windows Movie Maker, but it wasn't until I got to OpenShot that I really started learning how to use video editors. And so that is the first and most important tool. But then there is one more that I don't have working on my Linux machine, and that is Davinci Resolve. This one, hands down, is my favorite video editor. This is pro level video editing, and if you are using Windows or Mac, then this is available on those platforms, and they do have a free version, okay? And the free version alone basically trumps every video editor out there, and even against paid ones. I absolutely love Davinci Resolve, and so if you are running Microsoft Windows or Apple Mac, you could definitely download and use that if you want to go more of a professional route, or if you just want to learn a lot about video editing. This thing has it all. Now, in terms of Davinci Resolve for Linux, you can get it to work, but I haven't been able to successfully get it to work on Linux Mint. And also, the support is really for Microsoft Windows and Apple Mac. Okay, so those are the video editors that I use. These are all free. And then other software that I use is for my thumbnails, okay? I would say for most people, you can use a website like Canva. That works really great. I love Canva. However, if you are going to be creating your thumbnails on your own desktop, on your computer, then I highly recommend that you use GIMP. GIMP is very similar to Photoshop. It is free, so you don't have to pay anything. And so with this one, this is pretty much where I produce nearly all my thumbnails. At times, I still go back to Canva. So what I do like to do with GIMP is I like to go to Canva because it has a lot of tools. It really looks professional. And so what I do is I'll design it in Canva, and then I'll figure out how to do it in GIMP, because at least for me, I don't like to have everything online to where I can't access it. Like say for example, for you're not at the internet, all right? So you can't access all your thumbnail designs, okay? That's the only thing about doing everything completely online. Whenever you do want to do it on your computer without an internet connection, then you need to have tools that are available on your computer. So I really do enjoy using GIMP. And then finally, for my, well, not finally, there's one more piece to that. For audio editing, I use Audacity, okay? So if there's any type of audio editing that you need to do, I really do enjoy using Audacity. I think for a lot of people, this will allow them to quickly do video editors, but also do some more advanced things as well. And once again, this is free. And then the final piece of software that I absolutely love using, and I can't believe it's free, is OBS. And so let me see if I could move this over. So we have it right here. So as you can see, there is OBS. This is an amazing tool. And so what OBS will allow you to do, besides the screen recording, is do a lot of other cool things. For example, you could switch, you could switch scenes like this, or you could go to different cameras. If you have it, like what I have here, you could go to your desktop. You could add different effects. There's so many things you could do. And at least for me, if any of this software, especially these video editors and OBS, I would gladly pay for them, okay? Actually, all of them. I would pay for any of this software because it is that good. But the incredible thing here is that all of this is free for you to use, okay? So, hey, Kitsune, thanks for joining. So Kitsune is asking, would you consider subtitling software a part of the content production process? I definitely would, Kitsune, but to keep things simple, if it's available in the actual video editor, then I think that's the best way to go, and that's a good point. So let me show you that real quick. So we'll go back to the desktop, and you might or might not be able to see this. So if you are watching this on a smaller screen, you might want to watch this on a larger screen later. But at least here in Kdenlive, this is why I really love using Kdenlive, because it has basically all the main features that you would get in pro level tools. Okay, so like the things that I would normally use in Davinci Resolve, most of those things are here. Okay, and so if you go here, there is a subtitle tool that you can use. So if you wanted to add a subtitle, you can. And let me see, I can't remember. There it is. I can't remember how to use this subtitle tool. It's been a while since I used it, but it is here. And it is a feature that is currently not available in Shotcut. So hopefully they will add that feature. And it's also currently not available in OBS, in OpenShot as well. So let me see, I think it's under clipboard project. Yeah, there it is, project. There's subtitles. and then you could add a subtitle. And when you do that, you could simply come here and put in your subtitle. Now, this is fairly a brand new feature. I think they added this like last year or something. And so it's still very basic, but this is a great feature to have because this wasn't here before, and you kind of had to like figure out hacks to do subtitles and didn't really work that well. And at the same time, you could also use subtitles files like SRT files, which a lot of people use. And also if you uploaded these subtitle files, you could use that for YouTube, which is important. So Kitsune is asking, OBS is absolutely awesome with browser source. You can add anything under the sun. Absolutely. Absolutely, Kitsune. So let me go back here. And so hopefully, as you see, you could see from this video that, a lot of things that I thought were going to be very expensive. Okay, so starting off with the hardware. Okay, I thought, well, that's going to be expensive. I'm probably going to have to spend $1,000 or something for a camera, everything else. Nope, can do it for like 40 bucks, okay, 40 US dollars. And then for the software, I also thought that I'm gonna have to spend money, or at least at the time when I started doing this, the software, the free software that was available wasn't the best, okay? It was okay, okay? But nowadays, the free software that's available is absolutely incredible, okay? I would really challenge anyone to try and use this free software and see whether or not it'll work for you. And I would say for the vast majority of people, if you are brand new to this is going to be awesome because it's going to give you so many features. There's so many things to learn. And so those are like the main things that I use from a hardware standpoint. I really love this setup and used it for many years. And then for the software setup, I still use the same software to this day. And about the only thing I would say that's going to be needed in terms of like upgrades over time is basically you're going to be increasing your overall production quality. So for example, a very obvious thing is my camera. Okay, before I just used my smartphone, and then I had a webcam. I had a 720p webcam. I have it down here. And then I decided to go ahead and invest in a camera. And as you can see, the quality, it's so well worth it, because even though like your smartphone, specs wise, this smartphone a few years ago could do 4K. It could actually record in 4K, and my other one could do 1080p. But my camera, the 1080p quality is infinitely better, and I'll show you an example. Okay, and so if I were to go to let me see my web camera, which is this one right here. Okay, and I'm going to show you this just so that for people who might wonder like, hey, it's got the same specs, why would I spend more money on this? All right, so I'm going to change a few things real quick so then you could get a full view. All right, hopefully you can see that. Okay, so this webcam that I'm using, this is Logitech. I can't remember the actual number. I'll put that down in the description area below, but it is the 1080p. The one I had before, it was a 720p, and this resolution is at 1080p, so 1920 by 1080, okay, which is, I think, the best resolution for most content creators, and you don't have to have the most powerful machine to do that. However, let's go ahead and compare this, which I still think is really great quality for a webcam, but compare this to my camera. Okay, now this is the same exact resolution. It is also 1080p. They're both running at 30 frames per second. But as you can see, there is a world of difference between this and then this. Okay, even though this isn't bad, I could clearly see the difference between the two. Okay, but obviously, whenever I decided to upgrade these tools, it cost me more money. Like this webcam that I bought, I think it was around $80, somewhere around there. So definitely not a cheap webcam, but I think it's well worth it because the quality is way better than my previous webcam, and it also has a better mic, and it also had this privacy flap as well that I could bring down, and that's great to have. But then I invested in this camera. So with this camera, I spent the whole kit, came with a whole bunch of other things. It was about $1,000 at the time that I bought it, But nowadays, I think you could get this for like $600. And the camera that I'm talking about is the Panasonic G85. And I will be upgrading that as well. So with all of that being said, when you're starting out, start out with what you have And in terms of upgrades, you don't have to spend a lot of money. The most important things I think when it comes to video is first having great audio. Okay, so that's very important. So if you're inside and you're recording with your phone, it shouldn't be a problem as long as you don't have like a loud air conditioner, fans, or traffic. You'll be just fine. I've done hundreds of videos with just my phone, not even with the mic. And then if you want a better audio quality, instead of like spending, $50 for a mic, which I still recommend, but if you want to start a low budget, just use earbuds that has a mic, and if you go to the store, you'll be able to get that for less than $10. I got mine for like $5, okay? And then obviously having this tripod and a clamp will help you a lot because nobody likes to watch a video and have a lot of like basically motion. You could get sick from watching your videos. And then finally, this took me a while to realize. I didn't think it was important, but lighting is so important for you to have, okay? And so something like this, even though it's very cheap, it's still going to improve the overall video quality that you have. And later on, you can obviously get more bigger, expensive lights, at a higher quality, okay? And then obviously all the software that I showed you on my computer, all this was free. Now about the only upgrades I would make to software, at least for me, is Davinci Resolve. I'll probably, pay for the paid version later on because there's so many things that the free version have. But as I get better with video editing, I definitely want all the tools available. And then if you're going to be doing more, like I would say advanced audio editing, there's a lot of great free, more advanced audio software available. But I think for people who are going to be doing this more professionally, or you want a more pro level, then you're probably going to have to get better software there as well. And there's also like paid screen recorders and stuff, like OBS. But at least for me, OBS does so many things. Like I said, I would gladly pay for this software. And so that's kind of like the overall, description of a very crazy cheap YouTube studio setup. And this is complete, I would say. You have your hardware and you have all the software you need. I don't think there's anything lacking here. So Kitsune says, I think I could see too, there's a visual difference. Thank you, Kitsune. And Kitsune, since you were on the last live stream, is there any lag with this? Because I just tested it. I've made a number of changes and I don't have lag in terms of my audio with my video like I did before. And in a future video, I will show you how I actually set up my live stream for OBS with all the right settings and also a YouTube studio so that you have very little to no lag. And for anybody watching, Frank, if you had any thoughts on the lag, I don't see any here, but let me know if you do. And so those are all the things that I use for my current YouTube studio setup for both hardware and software. And as you can see, number one, you don't have to spend a lot of money. And number two, the things that are available, at least from a software standpoint, can do so many things. And at least for me, I've definitely not maxed out, my use of any of this software. There's still so many things that I can learn from this and I continually learn. So Kitsune is saying, nope, no lag at all from my end. Thank you so much. Hey, Tom Black, thanks for joining. Zero lag sounds great. Awesome. So look forward to a video later that I'm going to show you how I actually set this up. And I had to do some further research because I couldn't figure out with the settings that I had why I was getting lag, but I figured it out now. And on the video that I'll be releasing later, I'm actually going to be doing this while live streaming, or I've already done it. I just have to edit the video, okay? So you'll be able to see how I actually did the changes in OBS and in YouTube, and I was live streaming, so you see real world usage of it. So hopefully that'll help people because I've done live stream before years ago, but obviously things have changed over time. My setup has changed, and so I'm still learning as I go. So hopefully with anything that I learn, it'll help any of you out as well. Okay, so now that we have a few people, this is where I answer any questions or maybe some other things that you'd like to talk about on a Q&A. So far, I've had this for 30 minutes. So if you actually had any questions or thoughts, let me know. And while you're doing that, maybe I'll just talk about some other things with my equipment setup. And so One of the things that I'm really looking forward to upgrading is my camera. Okay, I absolutely love this Panasonic G85, but I think for anybody watching who have used Panasonic cameras before, they're offer you so many amazing things. Okay, I think they're absolutely awesome cameras, but there's one thing that is just a pain, and that is their autofocus. Okay, Panasonic cameras, they use this contrast-based autofocus technology. It's called their DFD system, so depth of defocus. And even though it is great for photography, for video, it just sucks. It's unreliable. And if you look at my channel, I have a camera gear playlist. I've done so many videos on the Panasonic G85, and so many other people have done this as well, where they're trying to get a better autofocus, but it's just doesn't work well for video. Okay, and so my next upgrade will be my camera upgrade, and at least for me, more than likely, I'm gonna be going with Sony. You know, Sony has the best with Canon autofocus. You know, Canon and Sony, I think they're about the same, but Sony continually gets better. And also, they've been adding a whole bunch of upgrades that I've always wanted. Okay, like for a long time, the Panasonic cameras had everything. They had the flippy screen, great menus, great features. You know, very video centric features, and that is one thing that Sony didn't always provide. And also, the whole image stabilization was better at the time, and also their battery life. There were so many things that Sony and even Canon, all these manufacturers, they always like hold something back, okay, for their more pro level stuff, okay, which makes sense. And at least for me, Panasonic would just put in a great autofocus in video for their cameras. For me, I don't need to upgrade for a long time. I would say that's a perfect camera for me if I just had those things. But Sony, they've really been stepping up their game. You know, they've been improving things like the flippy screen. Now they have a flippy screen where you can actually see yourself. It's a multi-variable angle screen, which I've always wanted. They've added way more video features that are not only competitive, but also class leading. And at the same time, their lens qualities, their selection of lens has gotten a lot better. And also it's still very portable for all the power that they're giving you. And most of the cameras out there and your phones, they're using Sony sensors. And so excellent sensors. So more than likely, that's going to be my next big upgrade, you know. And the one that I'm looking at is the Sony A7 IV. Okay, I think that's the name. And it's not cheap. I think it's like, with the lens, probably over $3,000. But this is like an investment for me. You know, I'm not going to be upgrading anytime soon. So that's going to be my next big purchase, because even though I absolutely love the Panasonic G85, whenever you're recording, okay, and then you look at the screen, it looks okay on this small screen, but then when you bring it to your computer and it's out of focus, that's horrible. And especially with the Panasonic, that is definitely focus. If you've ever used it before, it's constantly going back and forth, okay, trying to focus the image that's on video, and it just looks bad. Let's just say that, okay. Some people might not notice it, but if you're watching a larger screen, you will notice that, okay. And so Kitsune is asking, with the focus of being a studio, would you also say that as a beginner or intermediate level, should one worry about audio treatment? Great point, Kitsune. Yes. As you can see here, this is my audio treatment. This is a very cheap audio treatment, but I also have a video on this as well. So if you want to see like all my equipment stuff, I'll leave this in the description area below as well. But I have a geek gear playlist that I pretty much review all the gear that I've used up to this point. Okay, this is a very inexpensive way to do that. And I've learned a lot of things about it, you know, about audio treatment. But basically, if your room has a lot of things, okay, like you have objects in your room, you know, clothing, boxes and stuff, then that's going to help, because then the sound that you have is not going to bounce off walls. It's going to hit other objects, and it's going to diffuse the echo in there, okay. And so this is what I have, but later I'm going to be upgrading. Now, you've seen a lot of those people use those panels for sound, and they're fairly inexpensive, but at least from what I've seen with other creators, that when you buy those, even though they're fairly inexpensive, they don't work that great, you know, at least the ones I've seen. So more than likely, I'm going to invest in some more higher end sound panels. I think they're gonna be just like rectangular, and I think each one of them is like $100 each. And from what I've seen, it works really, really well. And so for me, you know, I don't want to buy so many of these things that don't work as well, and I don't want to have to change it out. And so that's probably going to be my next step, because at least from a visual point of view, I think if somebody were to come over here and watch my videos, this doesn't look good. Okay, you've seen a lot of other content creators, and this is something that I'm working on, that they have great production quality. Okay, their background looks great, they have lighting, and they have these really cool sound dampeners that just look amazing. Okay, so I'm still working on that. Okay, so to answer your question, student, yes, it is important. And other things that you can use for your audio is, like I said, you can use a you know, your earbuds with the mic and put it under your shirt. You could also tape it as well. And also, if you do decide to get a microphone, so I have my Rode video microphone on top of my camera, then you want to get some type of you know, wind diffuser. Okay, this is called a dead cat. This is very important to have. Okay, so if it doesn't come with one, if you're going to get a bigger microphone, I highly recommend that you definitely get some type of wind microphone, because this is going to make a huge difference. And obviously I'm the geek outdoors, and so I'm outdoors a lot. Okay, and so wind is a huge issue. It'll completely destroy your whole video. And as I think, like, you've heard this from many other creators before, the most important thing out of your videos is really not the video, it's the audio first and then the video. And then other things that might help, you might be able to see this. Let me see, I can't see it on my OBS. Okay, so you can see it right here, right? So this is my microphone. Okay, so I have the Samson CO1U microphone and also a pop filter. So these are things that you can upgrade over time. And as I said, I have a whole geek gear playlist, and also in my description on every one of my videos, I have all my equipment list down there. You know, so if you want to see it, you could go there, and so you could see all my reviews. And then also, if you wanted to get the gear and help support my channel, because there are affiliate links out there, I'd really appreciate it if you're going to purchase it through those. But everything is under my description. And so hopefully that answered that. And so Frank is asking, what type of PCI video card would you recommend? Oh yeah, Frank, your video card is very important for everything, basically. Okay, like for me, I have an old video card. It's an AMD 470. It's 4 gigs. So I built this computer. I have another playlist as well. If you go to my playlist, you see all this stuff. I have a Linux PC build playlist. I built this computer back in 2016, okay? And I'm still using the same GPU. But obviously, if you could get a better GPU, then get it, okay? Because you want to offload as much of the processing over to the GPU as you can. Like even now for this live stream, if I had a much better GPU, I could offload that processing over to the GPU instead of doing everything on my CPU, and it will definitely be able to process higher quality resolutions, you know, or I could do more things, okay? So that's always important. And whether or not it's NVIDIA or AMD, as long as it's a newer card, it is gonna definitely improve things. Let's just say that, okay? Let me see. So Kitsune is asking, also another point with video editing. I know it's probably a niche or underrated feature, but if somebody were to try it out, Blender could definitely do some video editing stuff, if I remember. Yeah, Kitsune, I think another person mentioned this, and other people mentioned it before. You can use Blender, but Blender is primarily made for graphics and stuff. So in my opinion, you know, if you're going to be using a video editor, you know, then use a video editor, you know, because they have a lot more tools available for you. And at the same time, if you are just starting out, using Blender as a video editor could be very complex. And it's, you know, like I said, if you are going to be doing strictly video editing, then I would say do it on that and learn from it. But obviously, if you're already using Blender and you want to do some simple edits and stuff, you could use that as well. But I myself, for video editing, I use video editing tools. Okay. And so what are some other things that I could think of whenever it comes to your YouTube studio setup? Oh yeah, if you are going to be doing any type of green screen stuff, I do have a green screen here. You can't see it. I might do a review on this later, but if you are going to be doing green screen, I got this entire green screen, I think for like $40, but the green screen itself is only $25, okay? That's another thing if you wanted to do any type of those effects, because when it comes to the whole world of YouTube, being a content creator, there are so many things that you could do. But I really feel if you just have these basic things, then you could do a lot. You know, there's so many things you could do. And so that's what I've learned, that as long as you have the basics of good audio, some stabilization, lighting, and the software that you need, that's will pretty much cover all your editing and content creation needs. And everything else, as I stated earlier, is just a basically increase or steadily increasing your overall production quality. Now that's something that I'm working on, and maybe later you'll also see like my video editing production quality is going to improve as well, because that's something that I've always, you know, slowly but surely I am learning to do, because my primary focus is on the content quality, but I know having great video editing production quality is also very, very important. And so as I learn those things, I'll also share that with you as well. And so Kitsune is also asking, that being said, with GPUs, last time I checked, video editing software tended to favor NVIDIA cards for CUDA dependencies. Yep, you're right, Kitsune. Most of it, even with OBS, you know, they have the NVENC encoder as well. Most of it is geared towards NVIDIA, but I would say nowadays, these GPUs are so powerful. It really depends on what you like. Okay, and right now I would say the GPUs, they're all expensive, so it really depends on what you need it for. Okay, let's just say that. Okay, some people, they're just strictly all AMD, some are NVIDIA only, and some are a mismatch of both. So yeah, but that's a great point. And that's it, I think, for this video. Unless anybody else has any other thoughts, I really wanted to just share my thoughts on how you can have a complete YouTube studio setup for hardware and software without spending a lot of money. We had another person on here, Chandan Lalitja. Hey, love you from India. Loves and appreciate your work at YouTube. Thank you so much, Chandan, for joining. I really appreciate that. And you know, if we ever do have people come in and I do have some more time, then I'll definitely continue with the live stream. I really enjoy interacting with y'all. And one of the things that, I don't talk too much about, because a lot of times whenever we are talking about YouTube content creation, most of the times it's focused on where we live. Okay, so I live in the United States. And so a lot of the things that I say or I recommend, it's really United States centric, which makes sense. But at the same time, we have a international audience, there's people all around the world. And as more people get better internet, have better infrastructure, it's going to be one world. It already is anyway. So with all of that being said, obviously some of these things I recommend, it might not be available in your country. Okay. And so if, obviously if it's not available, then you might have to find different ways of doing it. And so hopefully by me showing you these, and I think for most of these things, they are available in most countries at a low cost price. And especially the software, it's available free, all around the world. And so hopefully that'll help those people as well who maybe might not have access to all these things. So Kitsune is asking, oh yeah, I've been looking to upgrade for my PC that I do everything with, a good GPU with inch towards or exceed the 1K mark. It's crazy. Yeah. That's so true. A good GPU is about $1,000 or more. On the Verge, hey, thanks for joining On the Verge. I must know, what operating system are you on? Oh, On the Verge, I use Linux Mint. So what I recommend y'all, if you're brand new to my channel, let me show you something, because you might not be familiar with this, but let me go here and let me head to my my channel. Let me see if I could get this screen on here. And I didn't have this set up for this screen, but let me open up another window, because I don't think you'll be able to see this. So I'm going to go to my channel. Okay, so let me go ahead and share this screen. And it should be this one. Hopefully you could see that. Okay. And, I don't mind saying this, with every live video. So if you are brand new to my channel, you might not know. If you head to my channel and then you go to my playlist, okay, what you'll notice is I have a lot, a lot of videos, you know, and I have a lot of in my playlist. And if you go here, I have playlists for basically everything that I talk about. You know, whether you want to do video editing, I have a playlist for camera gear, smartphone creators. I have a playlist for Linux stuff. Okay, so if you go to my replace Windows or Mac with Linux, and I have a tutorials for OBS, OpenShot, and my whole entire YouTube journey. I have a Linux PC build. Here's my live playlist, and I also have one for me and my brothers whenever they have time to do Geek Bros Talk, you know, and I have so many things all categorized. And I kind of did that for a reason because obviously, you know, if you came to my channel and you didn't want to have to go through all my 1,000 plus videos, then it's just a lot easier for you just for you to go to my playlist. And for practically all of my videos, I always have my playlist at the bottom. Okay, I always say, you know, if you want to see more, head down to my playlist, and I leave it in the description and comments area below. Okay, so hopefully on the verge that helps you there. And so Chandan asking, I'm using Shotcut and OpenShot, really smooth on low-end PC. Oh, that's great, Chandan. Yeah, I mean, you know, as time goes on, even, and I talked about this before, even like your browser, you know, that takes up a lot of resources. And so it's great whenever this software still works good on lower end PC. So since the software is free, I always recommend that, you know, if you're not sure whether or not this software is for you, just install it and try it. You know, it's free, you know, and you'll be surprised that most of the software will still work on your computer, okay, which is a great thing. So Frank is asking, check your PP. Oh, all right. I'm not sure what that means. Let me see. All right. And let me see, I'm gonna go ahead and change one thing so I could go back to, I'm gonna go back to my camera really quick, my other camera. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my filter back on. If you're wondering how I do these things, you can just head over to my OBS playlist. So, all right, so the reason why I did that is whenever, you know, I'm showing my screen or something, then I'm in a smaller window. So that's the reason why I'm doing that. All right. And oh, thank you, Frank. Thank you so much. I super appreciate that. So thank you for sending that, Frank. And this is something that I think as a content creator, just as somebody who's out on the internet, whenever you have people who support you, okay, and I've talked about this on a previous one, but it really means a lot to us. And whenever you're like not only spending your time, but you're also, you know, like sending money or buying something from my affiliate link or things like that, that means so much because of the fact that as a content creator, okay, I think a lot of people, they want to do this full time, you know, for as they're living, you know, and just think of it this way. If you go to your job, if they didn't pay you, would you actually go to your job? I would say most people wouldn't, okay? But in this case, we live in a world where because of the internet, people could actually do things that they love and still make a living. And so with all the support that, you know, you coming here to my channel, watching my videos, leaving comments, and then, you know, graciously donating or buying stuff through my affiliate links, that helps me, you know, put more money in into what I'm doing, so then I could reinvest back into this so I could do more of this. Okay, so that's the reason why, you know, whenever these content creators, you know, they're talking about products, they're doing brand sponsorships, or all of these things, for the vast majority of content creators, it's because they want to continue creating and providing more things to their community and many other people. Okay, so thank you so much, Frank. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for all of you for any support that you provide. And so any other things, any other questions that you have, because I think this is a really great discussion, and this is what I really enjoy about these live chats, because and I stated on my previous videos that I don't do live chats often, but I am testing this out for a month, and so far I think this is something that I might be doing even longer term, because I feel like, number one, the type of content that I'm producing is, I would say, more helpful now because I kind of have an idea of my community. You know, there's more people coming here now for the creator stuff as well. You know, everything that you're watching on my channel, it's geared towards being more creative. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the second thing is my equipment, my setup, my software, my experience and skills are getting better, and so I could leverage that. Okay, and so as long as you're getting value out of it, and this time I really do enjoy doing these live streams. It's pretty cool. Oh, Kushal Hu, thanks for joining. You're the prime example of the grind. Be awesome, King. Thank you so much, Kushal. The grind is real, okay? And thank you, Kitsune. Yep, chatting streams are great. Um, and you know, whenever you know you're doing this, you know, you don't really know, you know, where things are gonna go. You know, you could do all the research, you could watch thousands of YouTube videos, but until you actually do it, and then you see the reaction from people, you never really know where it's gonna go. But where it does go, it's worth the grind. Let's say that for sure. So on the verge of saying, what would you recommend for growing a channel? Would you say just keep uploading? On the verge, that's a kind of like a simple but also complex question. Okay, so I might do a live stream talking about that later in terms of YouTube gurus or YouTube experts, because I think for a lot of people, they're going to go there first. And I'm not saying I'm a guru and expert, okay, but a lot of times what you see is they talk about the same things. Okay, and so let me give you a breakdown in general. Would you say just keep uploading? Yes, absolutely. But here's a big but. Keep uploading, but keep learning and improving. Okay, and there's not a simple answer to that. You know, you might have heard them all say the same thing, but I can guarantee you when you actually do this as a content creator, you could do everything that all these experts or gurus tell you, but you might not get, most of the times, you're not going to get the same exact results. Because why? Because everybody's channel, their community, content, where they're at in the world, it's different. That is like the random factor. And so what I say with this on the verge is, yeah, do keep uploading, be consistent, and you probably heard that before, but keep improving, because I've said this many times, but doing YouTube is an entrepreneurial effort, okay? Because if you look at people who are entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial, they go through these exact same things, okay? So I really, in the big belief that doing YouTube is doing a business, okay? And you have to really learn a lot of things, and you have to try so many things. Like I'm constantly trying stuff. You probably see this on my channel. I'm constantly changing my content, changing my thumbnails, and you know, over time things do improve. And as I learn things, you know, I will share pretty much what I know. And then later on, as I become way more advanced, I might do other things with that. You know, I might have separate training, you know, I might have products or services that I offer for those people. But if you go to my channel, like 95% of everything you need to be a creator, from not knowing anything to publishing, video editing, all that stuff, it's here in my channel. Okay, and so hopefully that answers that. On the verge, I'm sorry I don't have like a simple answer, you know. It's just keep creating, keep improving, and keep experimenting, and at the same time, don't ever stop learning. You know, I still go to these other channels. I learn. I paid for a lot of courses as well, you know, so I've done a lot of things, you know. And even though it's not gonna guarantee you success, just because you do these exact same things, it will increase your chances of success. And all the things that you learn up to that point, those are brand new skills and experiences. And so that's my long answer for that. So Kitsune is saying, like, certain quote says to the effect of, if you love what you do, you won't feel like you've worked a day in your life. Absolutely, Kitsune. You know, as cliche as that sounds, that is so true. I absolutely love doing this stuff. And the other thing, if you know, you watch my channel, you know that I do digital marketing. I love doing digital marketing, you know. I have a whole playlist for that. But those are two things I really enjoy. Being a YouTube content creator, just being a creator, period, and doing digital marketing. They go hand in hand. At least for the digital marketing side, it is so challenging and creative, and you're able to help people, you know, businesses, clients, and it all has this creative aspect of it, but it's a different type of creative. Okay, so I love the creativity part, let's just say that. And so those two things I really enjoy doing. So Chandan saying, I have a small YouTube channel, Namecheap Techno, and I always watch your open shot tutorial videos. Really help me. I'm doing YouTube as a part-time, hoping someday it would be grow. Yeah, Chandan, I think for a lot of people, that's how we all start out. Okay, and I think personally, my personal opinion, you know, just taking your phone, pressing record, and uploading. You know, that's all you have to do. Do that first, because once you do that, then then you've done it, And I'm so glad that, for anybody who's ever uploaded a YouTube video or maybe ever put up content, it's a scary thing to do. But once you do it, and then you do it more and more times, then you kind of find out whether or not this is something you enjoy. And then once you start getting people here, that's just the most awesome thing. Whenever there's a community of people and like-minded people, okay? So On the Verge is saying, it seems YouTube Shorts are overpowered. Yeah, On the Verge, I did talk about this on my previous video, but YouTube Shorts, YouTube is really, really pushing that. And why are they doing that? It's TikTok. If you didn't know, last year, TikTok overtook Google.com to become the most popular, highly trafficked website in the world. Okay, and Google knew this years ago. And they knew this because of Snapchat and many other things, but Google knew this a long time ago. That's why they're pushing YouTube Shorts so much. And that's why you're seeing more YouTube Shorts on my channel. I myself don't really enjoy that type of content, but with anything that you do, there's going to be constant changes and you're going to have to learn to adapt. Okay, that's one thing that I definitely want to say. That's why I said you have to constantly improve and learn, because things are always changing. Okay, and so Kushal saying, I got to go now. It's late for me here. Sorry. Thanks, Kushal. Hope you have a great stream. We'll try to come next stream. Also, you do inspire people starting new YouTube channels. Thanks for that. Thank you so much, Kushal. Have a good night. I know it's late over there. I don't know the exact time right now. It is in India. I have a YouTube movie channel, and I have a lot of people from India there as well. So Kitsune say, oh, now I see a few moments where it looks like it's sluggish, but still in sync with audio on this camera. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close off this live stream, because most of the times I do about an hour, and at the same time for my my camera, I'm running it off batteries. I don't have a charger, but really I normally get this is a lot of work for me to talk this long, and I do appreciate y'all being here, okay? And obviously, if I could talk longer, I probably would, but at this point, I'm starting to feel it. And so that's another thing. If you decide to do live streams, and I talked about this in a previous video, I don't know how these people do these 8-hour, 12-hour, 24-hour live streams. Absolutely blows my mind. But anyway, that is it on this video. I do first, as always, I want to thank all of you for being here and spending your valuable time here on this live chat. And then for anybody else who's watching this video later, thank you. And hopefully this video, and I keep reiterating this, hopefully this video shows you that you don't have to spend a lot of money to be a creator, and at the same time you can get everything that you need for very low price or free. And so once you know all those things, I really feel like if there's something that you want to create, you want to try, there's really no excuses. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And if you did want to see more of my live videos, I do have an entire playlist below, and you can check that out. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you on another episode.